The Galactic Council chambers buzzed with activity. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about, their voices a mix of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. The air smelled of strange perfumes and oils from 100 worlds. In the center of it all stood Ambassador Chen, the first human to set foot in these halls. He looked small next to the towering Centauri or the blob-like Clupians, but his eyes were sharp, taking in every detail. "Quiet, please," boomed a voice. It belonged to High Counselor Zix, a blue-skinned being with 4 arms. "We will now discuss the newest members of our galactic community, the humans." A murmur ran through the crowd. Many had heard of these humans, but few had met one. They turned to stare at Chen, who stood calmly under their gaze. "Ambassador," said Zix, "please tell us about your people's military capabilities." The last words dripped with sarcasm. Chen stepped forward, his voice clear and steady. "Thank you, High Counselor. Humans have a long history of warfare, but also of peace. Our military is designed for defense and exploration." A snort came from the back. It was General Krug of the Volcran Empire, a race known for their warlike nature. "Defense. Exploration. Bah! What weapons do you have, little human?" "Pointy sticks." Laughter rippled through the chamber. Chen didn't flinch. "We have various technologies," he said. "Projectile weapons, energy beams, force fields." "Force fields," interrupted Krug. "You mean like this?" He waved a hand, and a shimmering barrier appeared around him. "Our children play with such things." More laughter. Chen nodded politely. "Impressive, General. Our technology may be different, but it serves us well." Now Diplomat Slith of the Reptiloid Confederation spoke up. Her forked tongue flicked out as she talked. "And your ships? How do they travel between stars?" "We use a form of faster-than-light travel," Chen explained. "We call it the jump drive." This time, the laughter was loud and long. Counselor Zix had to bang his gavel for order. "Jump drive," wheezed an octopus-like being. "What do you do? Push really hard off planets?" Chen smiled. "It's a bit more complicated than that. But yes, we jump through space-time." General Krug stomped forward. He towered over Chen, his breath hot on the human's face. "Enough of this foolishness. Show us a real warship, human, if you have any." The chamber grew quiet. All eyes were on Chen. He looked up at Krug, then around at the assembled aliens. His face was calm, but his eyes twinkled. "As it happens," he said softly, "we do have a ship nearby. Would the council like to see it?" Zix leaned forward, curious despite himself. "You brought a warship to a peace conference, Ambassador." Chen shrugged. "We brought an escort, as allowed by your rules. For our protection, you understand." Murmurs ran through the crowd. Some sounded angry, others intrigued. "Very well," said Zix. "Show us this ship of yours." Chen nodded and tapped his wrist computer. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. At first, it showed only stars. Then something moved. It started as a dot. Then it grew, and grew, and kept growing. Gasps echoed around the room. The ship was enormous, dwarfing anything in known space. Its hull was sleek and dark, bristling with weapons. Energy crackled around it, hinting at power barely contained. "This," said Chen quietly, "is the UES Humanity's Hope, our first Dreadnought-class vessel." The chamber was silent. Every alien eye was fixed on the hologram, minds racing to understand what they were seeing. Chen continued, his voice carrying in the silence. "It's currently in orbit around your third moon. Powered down, of course. We wouldn't want to alarm anyone." He looked around the room, meeting stunned gazes. "Now then," he said pleasantly, "shall we continue our discussion about galactic peace?" No one spoke. No one laughed, and Ambassador Chen allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was deafening. Ambassador Chen stood calmly, his eyes moving from one stunned alien face to another. The hologram of the massive human dreadnought still hung in the air, its presence as overwhelming as a storm cloud. High Counselor Zix was the first to find his voice. "Ambassador," he said, his forearms trembling slightly, "perhaps we should continue this discussion in private." Chen nodded politely. "Of course, High Counselor. Whatever you think is best." As Zix led Chen and a select group of delegates to a smaller room, whispers erupted in the main chamber. The news spread quickly through the station and beyond. Within hours, every species in the galaxy would know about the human warship. In the private chamber, Chen sat at a round table, facing the most powerful beings in the galaxy. General Krug, who had laughed at human technology earlier, now glared at Chen with a mix of anger and fear. "Explain yourself, human," Krug growled. "Why bring such a weapon here?" Chen's face remained calm. "As I said, it's an escort. We come in peace, but we're not naive. The galaxy can be a dangerous place." Diplomat Slith leaned forward, her scales shimmering. "That ship, it's bigger than anything we've seen. How did you build it in secret?" "Who said it was a secret?" Chen replied. "We've been open about our shipbuilding. It's not our fault if no one believed us." Zix raised all four of his hands for quiet. "Ambassador, you must understand our concern. Such a ship upsets the balance of power in the galaxy." Chen nodded. "I understand, High Counselor, but perhaps it's time for a new balance, one where humanity has a seat at the table." The aliens exchanged glances. They had underestimated these humans, and now they were scrambling to adapt. An insectoid being clicked its mandibles nervously. "What are your demands, human?" Chen looked surprised. "Demands? We have no demands. We're here to join the galactic community, to trade, to share knowledge. We just want to be treated as equals." The room fell silent again as the aliens processed this. It was Krug who spoke next, his voice gruff, but no longer mocking. "You could have conquered us," he said. "Why didn't you?" Chen smiled. "That's not our way, General. We've had enough of war in our history. We seek peace, but we're prepared for anything." As the meeting continued, Chen shared more about human culture and history. He spoke of Earth's diverse ecosystems, of human art and music, of their triumphs and mistakes. The aliens listened, fascinated despite themselves. Hours passed. When they finally emerged from the private chamber, the mood had shifted. There was still fear, yes, but also curiosity and a grudging respect. Zix addressed the waiting crowd. "The human ambassador has given us much to think about," he announced. "We will be revising our protocols to better welcome Earth into the galactic community." As Chen prepared to leave, he was approached by various delegates. Some offered cautious congratulations, others thinly veiled threats. He took it all in stride. Just before he boarded his shuttle, General Krug stopped him. The massive alien looked down at Chen, his expression unreadable. "You played us well, human," Krug said quietly. "But remember, the game is not over." Chen met Krug's gaze steadily. "It's not a game, General. It's the future. I hope we can build it together." As the shuttle took off, carrying Chen back to the humanity's hope, the Galactic Council erupted into frenzied discussion. Plans were made, alliances shifted, and a new era of galactic politics began. And orbiting silently above it all, the human dreadnought stood watch, a symbol of a species that could no longer be ignored or underestimated. Days passed since Ambassador Chen's revelation of the human dreadnought. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Emergency meetings were held, and rumors flew faster than starships. In the Grand Council chamber, a special session was called. Representatives from every major species crowded in, their voices a mix of worried whispers and angry shouts. High Counselor Zix raised all four of his arms for silence. "Order. We must have order." Slowly, the noise died down. All eyes turned to the center, where Ambassador Chen stood calmly. He looked small among the aliens, but his presence filled the room. "Ambassador," Zix said, His voice echoing, "The council has questions." "Many questions." Chen nodded. "I'm here to answer them, High Counselor." General Krug stepped forward, his massive form towering over Chen. "Tell us about your other ships, human. How many dreadnoughts do you have?" A murmur ran through the crowd. This was the question on everyone's mind. Chen smiled slightly. "I'm afraid that's classified information, General. For security reasons, you understand." Krug growled, but before he could speak, Diplomat Slith cut in. "Surely you can give us some idea, Ambassador. Are we talking about a handful? Dozens? Hundreds?" Chen's face remained neutral. "I can say that the humanity's hope is not unique. But numbers aren't everything, are they? Quality matters too." This set off another round of whispers. The aliens tried to imagine a fleet of those massive ships, each one capable of changing the balance of power. An avian being with colorful feathers spoke up. "What about your other technologies? Weapons? Defenses?" "We have a range of technologies," Chen replied. "Some might be familiar to you, others less so. We're always innovating." The chamber buzzed with tension. Some aliens looked afraid, others angry. A few seemed excited at the possibilities. Zix leaned forward. "Ambassador, many here feel threatened by your sudden revelation. How can we trust the humans won't use these ships against us?" Chen's voice was firm as he answered. "High Counselor, if we wanted conflict, we wouldn't be here talking. We've come in peace, seeking cooperation. Yes, we have powerful ships, but we also have art, music, literature. We have cures for diseases and solutions for environmental problems. We want to share these things, not wage war." His words seemed to calm some of the aliens, but others remained skeptical. A blob-like glupian oozed forward. "Pretty words, human. But actions speak louder. What guarantees can you offer?" Chen thought for a moment. "How about this? We propose a series of cultural exchanges. Our scientists, artists, and diplomats visit your worlds, and yours visit Earth. Let's get to know each other, build trust." The idea sparked interest. Many aliens nodded, seeing the potential benefits. But General Krug wasn't satisfied. "And your military? Will you share your ship designs, your weapon schematics?" Chen shook his head. "I'm afraid not, General. No more than you would share yours. But we're open to joint peacekeeping missions, if the Council agrees." The debate raged on for hours. Some species were eager to learn from the humans, seeing opportunities for advancement. Others wanted to isolate Earth, fearing its power. As the session neared its end, Ambassador Chen made a final statement. "We understand your fears. Humanity has faced similar challenges in our history. But we've learned that fear leads to conflict, while understanding leads to peace. We're here to understand and to be understood. The choice of how to move forward is yours." With that, Chen stepped back, leaving the council to deliberate. As he left the chamber, Chen's communicator beeped. A message from Earth. More ships were ready. The humanity's hope was just the beginning. Chen smiled to himself. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the center of it all. Whatever came next, it would certainly be interesting. Weeks had passed since the initial revelation of the human dreadnought. The Galactic Council had been in constant sessions, debating the best way to handle the situation. Today, they had finally reached a decision. Ambassador Chen stood before the council once again. The chamber was packed, with representatives from every corner of the galaxy present. The air crackled with tension and anticipation. High Counselor Zix spoke, his voice solemn. "After much deliberation, the Council has decided to accept Earth's offer of cultural exchange. However, we have conditions." Chen nodded, his face neutral. "We're listening, High Counselor." Zix continued. "First, we request a demonstration of your Dreadnought's capabilities. In a controlled environment, of course." A murmur ran through the crowd. Many had been curious about the true power of the human ship. "Second," Zix said, "we want to send a delegation to Earth. To see your world, your people, your other ships. Chen smiled slightly. Both requests seem reasonable. We accept. General Krug stepped forward, his massive form imposing. I will lead the military observation team for the demonstration, he growled. And I, said Diplomat Slith, her scales shimmering, will head the delegation to Earth. Chen bowed slightly to both. We welcome you both. When shall we begin? Immediately, Zix declared. The next day, a fleet of alien ships gathered at a remote star system. The Humanity's Hope hung in space, dwarfing the other vessels. On board the alien ships, observers from every species watched with a mix of fear and fascination. Ambassador Chen's voice came over the comms. We'll start with a demonstration of our maneuverability. What followed left the alien observers speechless. The massive Dreadnought moved with impossible grace, performing complex maneuvers that should have been beyond a ship of its size. It accelerated and stopped on a dime, leaving afterimages in the watcher's eyes. Now, a small demonstration of our offensive capabilities, Chen announced. A beam of energy lanced out from the Humanity's Hope, striking an uninhabited moon. The celestial body shattered like glass, fragments spinning away into space. Gasps and cries of shock echoed through the observation ships. General Krug's eyes were wide, his usual bravado gone. And finally, our defensive systems, Chen said. The alien ships unleashed a barrage of their most powerful weapons, as agreed upon beforehand. The shots splashed harmlessly against an invisible barrier around the Dreadnought. When the smoke cleared, the Humanity's Hope was untouched. As the demonstration ended, a stunned silence fell over the comm channels. The human ship had exceeded even the wildest speculations about its abilities. Meanwhile, on Earth, Diplomat Slith and her team were having their own revelations. They toured gleaming cities and lush wilderness preserves. They attended concerts of human music and viewed art that moved even their alien hearts. But it was the shipyards that truly shocked them. Stretching as far as the eye could see, construction bays worked tirelessly. More dreadnoughts were taking shape, each seemingly more advanced than the last. Slith turned to her human guide, her voice trembling slightly. How many? The guide smiled. That's classified, I'm afraid. But rest assured, we have more than enough to defend ourselves, and to help defend our new galactic friends, if needed. As both groups returned to the Galactic Council to report their findings, the mood in the galaxy shifted. Fear was still present, but it was overshadowed by a growing respect, and in some cases, excitement. Ambassador Chen stood before the council one last time. You've seen who we are, he said. Both our strength and our culture. We extend our hand in friendship. Will you take it? The council chamber erupted in discussion. The galaxy stood at a crossroads. Whatever they decided, one thing was clear. The era of underestimating humanity was over. The Galactic Council chamber was silent as the representatives absorbed the reports from General Krug and Diplomat Slith. The demonstration of the Humanity's Hope and the visit to Earth had left a deep impression on everyone. High Counselor Zix spoke first, his voice thoughtful. It seems we have much to consider. The humans have shown great power, but also great restraint. General Krug nodded grudgingly. Their ship, it's beyond anything we've seen. And they have more. Many more. Slith added, her scales rippling with excitement. But it's not just their military might. Their culture, their art, their sciences. They're advanced in ways we hadn't imagined. The chamber buzzed with whispers. Ambassador Chen stood calmly in the center, waiting for the council's response. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the station. Red lights flashed, and a panicked voice came over the speakers. Unknown ships approaching. Hundreds of them. They're not responding to hails. Chaos erupted in the chamber. Aliens rushed to view screens, watching in horror as a massive fleet of dark, angular ships appeared out of nowhere. High Counselor Zix turned to Chen, fear in his eyes. Ambassador, are these your ships? Is this some kind of trick? Chen's face was grim. No, Counselor. These aren't ours. We've never seen them before. As if on cue, the view screens flickered. A face appeared, alien, with gray skin and black, pupilless eyes. Its voice was cold and metallic. Sentience of the galaxy, we are the Void Collective. Your time is over. Surrender or be eradicated. Panic spread through the chamber. Some representatives called for immediate surrender, while others demanded to fight. In the midst of the chaos, Chen's voice cut through. We can help. All eyes turned to the human ambassador. The humanity's hope is still in the system, Chen continued. And it's not alone. We have a fleet nearby, hidden. We can fight. General Krug stepped forward. Why would you help us? You owe us nothing. Chen's eyes were steady. Because that's who we are. We don't stand by when others are in danger. High Counselor Zix looked from Chen to the terrifying fleet on the view screens. He made a decision. Very well, Ambassador. We accept your help. What do you need from us? Chen tapped his communicator. Captain, you're cleared to engage. Bring in the fleet. The view screens shifted to show space around the station. Suddenly, ships began to appear, dozens, then hundreds of human vessels, decloaking all around the Void Collective fleet. The chamber watched in awe as the human ships moved into formation. At their center was the humanity's hope, its massive form now a beacon of hope rather than a source of fear. Chen's voice was calm but firm as he addressed the council. We'll handle the space battle, but we need your help to evacuate the civilians from nearby worlds. Can you do that? The aliens snapped into action. For the first time, the various species of the Galactic Council worked together without argument or hesitation. As the human fleet engaged the Void Collective, the Council organized the largest evacuation in galactic history. Ships of all sizes and shapes ferried civilians to safety, protected by human escorts. The battle raged for hours. The Void Collective was powerful, but they hadn't expected to face a united galaxy, let alone the advanced human fleet. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. In the council chamber, aliens cheered each victory, watched in awe as human ships performed impossible maneuvers, and held their breath during close calls. As the last Void Collective ship fell, a cheer went up across the galaxy. The threat was over. Ambassador Chen, looking tired but relieved, addressed the council once more. The danger has passed, but there may be more out there. We stand ready to help protect this galaxy, our new home, if you'll have us. The chamber erupted in applause. In the face of a common enemy, old fears had been forgotten. A new era of galactic cooperation was dawning with humanity at its center. In the days following the Void Collective's defeat, the Galactic Council underwent a dramatic transformation. The Grand Chamber, once a place of heated debates and thinly veiled threats, now buzzed with excitement and cooperation. Ambassador Chen found himself at the center of it all. Aliens who had once mocked or feared humans now sought his advice and friendship. The change was both surprising and gratifying. High Counselor Zix called a special session to order. Friends, colleagues, he began, his four arms spread wide. We stand at a turning point in galactic history. The humans have proven themselves not just powerful allies, but selfless protectors of our community. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Even General Krug nodded, respect clear in his eyes. Zix continued, Therefore, I propose we offer Earth full membership in the Galactic Council, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. All in favor. The chamber erupted in a chorus of aye votes. Species that had been enemies for millennia found themselves on the same side, united by their newfound respect for humanity. Chen stepped forward, his face solemn. On behalf of Earth and all humans, we accept this honor. We pledge to use our strength to protect and our knowledge to uplift. As the formalities concluded, the real work began. Mixed teams of humans and aliens set out to fortify the galaxy against future threats. Human scientists shared their advanced technologies, while alien experts introduced humans to wonders beyond their imagination. On a view screen, reporters showed the first human-alien cultural festival on Earth. Millions of curious aliens wandered the streets of New York, Tokyo, and Nairobi, sampling human foods and marveling at Earth's diverse ecosystems. Meanwhile, the first wave of human tourists ventured to alien worlds. Their adaptability and curiosity endeared them to their hosts, bridging gaps that diplomacy alone could not. But not all was peaceful. In a private meeting room, Chen sat with Zix, Krug, and other high-ranking officials. Their faces were grim. The Void Collective may be defeated, but they're not destroyed, Krug growled. Our scouts have detected remnants regrouping in the Galactic fringe. Chen nodded. We've seen the same. They'll be back, and possibly with reinforcements. Zix's tendrils writhed with worry. What can we do? Even with human help, another war like that could devastate the galaxy. Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. We prepare. We train. We build. But most importantly, we stand together. He activated a hologram, showing a massive space station unlike anything the aliens had seen before. This is the Harmony Project, a joint human-alien defense platform and research center. With your permission, we'd like to build these at strategic points throughout the galaxy. The aliens studied the hologram, awe and hope replacing their worry. With this, Krug said, we could stand against anything. As the meeting concluded, Chen stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the vast alien cityscape. The sky was filled with ships of all shapes and sizes, humans and aliens working side by side to build a better future. A small alien child, no higher than Chen's knee, tugged at his pants. It looked up at him with wide, curious eyes. Mr. Human, it chirped in broken English, will you tell us a story about Earth? Chen smiled, kneeling down to the child's level. More alien children gathered around, joined by their parents. Even some council members drifted closer, eager to listen. Well, Chen began, his voice warm. Let me tell you about a blue planet, third from its sun, where a young species dreamed of the stars. As he spoke, Chen realized that this moment of connection, of shared wonder and hope, was what humanity had always sought in the stars. Not just allies or resources, but a larger family, a grander purpose. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous. But together, united in their diversity, they would face whatever came next, and they would face it not with fear, but with courage, curiosity, and compassion. The future, Chen thought as he looked at the eager faces around him, was bright indeed. Years passed, and the galaxy flourished under the new alliance between humans and aliens. The Harmony Project stations dotted the cosmos, beacons of peace and scientific progress. But peace, as always, was fragile. On a quiet morning, alarms blared across every Harmony station. The Void Collective had returned, their fleet larger and more menacing than before. In the central command of Harmony Prime, Ambassador Chen, now older but still sharp, stood with his alien colleagues. The mood was tense, but not panicked. "They're back," growled General Krug, his battle-scarred face grim. "And in greater numbers." High Counselor Zix nodded, his forearms moving in complex patterns as he studied the holographic display. "But so are we. Thanks to the Harmony Project, we're more prepared than ever." Chen stepped forward, his eyes scanning the tactical readouts. "Activate the Nexus Protocol," he ordered. Across the galaxy, Harmony stations hummed to life. Energy fields sprang up, connecting them in a vast, glittering web. Ships of all species moved into formation, humans and aliens working in perfect sync. The Void Collective's message boomed across all channels. "Sentience of the galaxy, your time is up. Surrender or face extinction." Chen's response was calm but firm. "Void Collective, we've faced you before, and we'll face you again. This galaxy stands united. Turn back now, or face the consequences." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, with a roar of engines, the battle began. The Void ships were powerful, their weapons capable of shattering planets, but the united galactic fleet was ready. Human dreadnoughts led the charge, their advanced shields absorbing blows that would have vaporized lesser ships. Alien vessels darted between the behemoths, their unique technologies complementing the human firepower. Centauri teleportation devices planted bombs directly inside enemy ships. Glupian living metals repaired damage almost instantly. On the fringes of the battle, a small human ship found itself cornered by 3 void cruisers. Just as all seemed lost, a massive Volcran warship, commanded by none other than General Krug himself, swooped in to the rescue. "Thought you could use a hand, humans," Krug's gruff voice came over the comms. "Let's show these void scum what real warriors can do." Throughout the galaxy, scenes of cooperation and bravery played out. Species that once distrusted each other now fought side by side, saving each other's lives countless times. The battle raged for days. Stars were born and died in the cosmic fire of conflict. But slowly, inevitably, the tide turned. The Harmony Network, powered by the combined knowledge and technology of 100 species, proved too much for even the mighty Void Collective. As the last Void ship fell, a cheer went up across the galaxy. In the command center, Chen slumped in his chair, exhausted but triumphant. "It's over," he breathed. "We've won." Zix placed a comforting tendril on Chen's shoulder. "No, my friend. We've more than won. We've proven that unity is the greatest force in the universe." In the aftermath, as the galaxy began to rebuild, a new era dawned. The fear and mistrust that had once divided species faded away, replaced by a deep appreciation for each other's strengths and uniqueness. Humans, once mocked and underestimated, were now respected leaders in the galactic community. But they never forgot the lessons of humility and cooperation they had learned. Years later, at a grand ceremony marking the anniversary of the final battle, Ambassador Chen stood before a sea of faces, human and alien alike. His hair was gray now, his face lined with age, but his eyes still sparkled with the same curiosity and warmth. "Today," he said, his voice carrying to every corner of the galaxy, "we celebrate not just a victory, but a new beginning. We faced our greatest challenge and emerged stronger, not because of our weapons or our ships, but because of our unity." He raised a glass, and trillions of beings across countless worlds raised theirs in response. "To the future," Chen toasted. "May we always remember that our greatest strength lies not in our ability to wage war, but in our capacity to forge peace. Together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." As the cheers echoed across the stars, Chen smiled. The galaxy had learned its lesson, and the future, vast and bright, beckoned to them all.